Will Scream 6 feature a cult of ghost faces? Let's get into this.
What's your favorite scary movie? Hey man.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Well, I'm Pennywise the dancing now.
We're gonna get you.
Oh, blood on the beast!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes, death is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today I have a crazy theory on Scream 6, probably my craziest theory about the film so far. Now before I get into it, I'm gonna need y'all to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Alrighty, so this is a bonkers theory. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I've been thinking about how to do the cult of Ghostface theory and how to pitch that in my own original way for a minute now. I was gonna have this video out a couple hours ago, but then my theory brain just started going nuts and I just kept writing. I just kept writing stuff and I'm like, oh wait, but then you could do this and then you could do that, and oh my god, I literally just came out with an entire outline for the next movie basically, which I don't think they will follow this at all, but I have to say, it's an interesting theory, nonetheless. Matt and Tyler from Radio Silence have talked about their risk-it-all approach that they're taking with Scream 6, and I sympathize with that a lot. I think if they're going to move forward with this franchise and keep it fresh, keep breathing new life into it, they have to do things differently, which is why I think it's so important that they killed Dewey off in the last movie. It's not that I don't like Dewey, I love him, he's a great character, he's amazing, but if they didn't kill one of the legacy characters, we would continuously be thinking, oh, well, they're safe, there's no way they're gonna die, especially if these new filmmakers didn't do that in their first movie with this. We didn't know if Scream 6 was going to be happening at the time either, so if they didn't kill Dewey and moving into a Scream 6, I would just kind of be thinking, all right, well, legacy characters are safe. There's no reason to be in suspense when they're ever in a Ghostface chase scene. So that's my big thing about killing Dewey, why I'm so for that. Moving forward, I think that the risk-it-all approach thing that they were talking about in that interview relates to the formula. That's the one thing they didn't really change up for Scream 5, which was kind of surprising to me. I thought, if anything, that would be the one thing they would change, and before Scream 5 even came out, I'm like, these guys are probably gonna kill their careers if they actually kill a legacy characters. It'll turn so many fans away. I will say it also was a really big, it was really important that they killed Dewey in a specific way. They didn't just make him the opening kill, because that would have sucked. I would have absolutely despised that. It would have been so distasteful to people who love these characters and have been following these characters since the 90s. So I'm glad that they did it in a certain way to give him a hero's death, build up the death as well, and it made a lot of sense to do it the way that they did it. So that I really cared for, but now I feel like moving forward, there's more things that they could change about Scream to make it fresh again, and that's the formula. That has, like I said, has been the same in the last 5 movies for the most part. You have an opening kill, you have a bunch of exposition meeting all the characters, they're trying to figure out who it is with some kills along the way, and then a big third act reveal, the killers die. That's every Scream movie in a nutshell, essentially. So how do we change that up? Well, maybe instead of your typical murder mystery style film, you have a movie where, and let's say that a lot of the rumors are true right now. I'm kind of basing things off of a lot of the rumors about this new film, about how it's maybe going to be called Scream 2. It's going to be at a college setting. We're going to see Tara going to college like a year after the events of Scream 5, theoretically. Let's say that. Let's say that's all true for this theory to make sense. Tara is in college, Sam is living somewhere nearby with maybe Mindy and maybe Chad if they're still alive at this point, and the whole movie focuses on mostly Sam and Tara's relationship with, of course, some new characters along the way. Now, how you could do this differently, though, isn't have your opening kill. Of course, it's a Scream movie, so have the opening kill. Someone dies in a very vicious, crazy attack scene after some horrific phone call with some questioning, all that stuff. Do that the same, I say. That's always fun. That's always a good time. There's not really, except Scream 4, I think there's really not really a bad opening scene in these movies. I think they're all very fun. But then do your exposition. Of course, that's same old, introduce characters, reintroduce old characters, yada yada, keep moving through. But then, here's where the deviation is. We have Tara wanting to join a sorority. Now, instead of the typical, like in Scream 2, when you have the sorority girls and they're like with Nev Can, like all that, they're kind of just a side character. It's really not super important to the overall plot. Not entirely. This time around, though, what if the sorority is an entire cult of Ghostface killers who is trying to get to Sam by capturing Tara in their house, like they lock her in a room or something and torture her and all that. It could be like a really just dark scene sequence of like a bunch of ghost faces just surrounding her in the sorority house and revealing themselves right at the beginning of the second act. Now you might be asking yourself, Jake, why don't you just follow this typical formula, but at the end have a reveal of like 10, 12, 15 ghost faces in the sorority house? Well, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work at all. You typically have like 2, 3, maybe 4 people in the ending who are still alive and who aren't Ghostface to fight the Ghostface killers. That there's no way that Sidney Prescott, Gale Weathers, Sam Carpenter, and Tara Carpenter could take down an entire sorority house unless they had like a machine gun or something, but that would be absolutely ridiculous, and that would not happen. There's no way that would ever happen in a Scream film. It would just be way too silly, way too bonkers. The killers would win. The only way you could do that film by keeping the murder mystery exactly the same is if you were to have a dark ending where Sidney and Gale and Sam and Tara all die at the end. I guarantee you that is not going to happen in Scream 6. What I suggest instead is use dramatic irony, which, if you're unfamiliar with that term, essentially it's when the audience knows something that the characters do not. So the best example of this, too, if you're still not really familiar with how I'm explaining it, is think Randy on the couch in Scream 1. He's watching TV, he's saying, "Oh, Jamie, look behind you," and then you see Ghostface behind him, but he doesn't know that. You do, as the audience, though. You're literally watching Ghostface walk up behind him as he's completely oblivious to it. And it's like, that's information he would need to know if he wants to survive. So that's dramatic irony. Essentially what it would be is Tara would know of who the Ghostface killers are, that like this entire sorority that she's joining has become like an entire cult of ghost faces that are coming after Sam and are using Tara as leverage to get Sam to come to their house for whatever reason. And Sam is trying to figure this out throughout the whole movie, who the Ghostface killers are. Now, the cult leader, whoever that is, maybe it's some girl in the house who has been there for like a long time. Obviously, she's like has some kind of like dominion over this, like has some like power, cult of personality over all the people in the sorority house. What would her motive be? Now, I specifically do not want it to be something along the lines of, oh, she's Richie's younger sister or something along those lines, because that's pretty much just the same twist from Scream 2. I don't want to see that again. I would like to see some familiarity of Scream 2. Sure, why not? The college setting sounds fun. But just don't follow the same plot line where it's like, it's somebody's mother, it's somebody's sister, it's somebody's cousin. I don't want to see, I have no interest in seeing the Richie family start taking over the script. I don't want to see that. We already kind of saw that. Let's do something different. Let's just say she's someone on the subreddit of the Stab films. Maybe this entire sorority is like huge on the Stab movies, and they want to kill Sam and Tara for killing Richie and Amber, who are maybe active members on that Reddit for whatever reason, on that Reddit thread for whatever reason. But this leads into one of my other theories about Sam Carpenter, about something I feel like that they're already setting up with her character. I may or may not be right about this, but I think it would be sick if they went this route. You could have Sam Carpenter get gaslit into thinking it's somebody else who shows up at the sorority house in the third act. And Sam accidentally kills that person, and it's just straight up murder. And the sorority starts blaming it on her. Instead of actually killing her, they call the cops and they say, "Oh my God, you captured your own sister and you killed this person and all that. Oh my God, you're the Ghostface killer." And she gets arrested. And we're left on a cliffhanger. I can't get off this cliffhanger thing, man. I'm telling you, it's gotta happen. And then at the ending, it says, Scream will return in 2024. Scream 7. Blah. It's just a fucking massive title card. It's like the Scream 3 one with the slash and the but like with the 7. Did that make any sense? Probably not. But I just think that would be I basically came out with an entire outline of how that script could work just now, and I'm like, the more I think about it, the more I like it, the more I think that would be really interesting and just a crazy movie to have in your slasher franchise. It would be a lot of fun if they took a route like this. But once again, something I want to emphasize is I just don't think the cult of Ghostface thing would work if they follow the typical murder mystery formula. That's the whole point of this video. If you take nothing else away from it, take away the fact that I just don't think Sidney Prescott, Gale Weathers, Sam Carpenter, Tara Carpenter, maybe one other person could take down an entire sorority house of people. It just wouldn't, I don't think that would happen. And that's the visual I want to see. I want to see a room with like 20 Ghostface killers with knives ready to kill people. Like, that would be so scary. And how you could do that without killing your entire cast of beloved characters is have them capture Tara Carpenter in a scene that would just be so stunning and so gorgeous and so stylistic. Something we want to see from the Scream franchise is have like 20, 40 ghost faces running into a room and like pinning someone up into a corner and just like have them be horrified. Think about how scary that sequence would be. The whole movie up until that point, typical Scream movie too, but then you have that shock, that just bombshell of a scene that would just blow your mind, and then you are just, I mean, if I saw that personally, I would be set the rest of the movie. I'm like, I am in. I don't know what's happening next, but I'm so ready for it. That's another thing. You wouldn't know what would happen next. If they deviate from the formula that much, you couldn't have a similar Scream movie like that. It's very ambitious, it's very different, and it could go very sour if they mess it up and they don't write it correctly. But I'm all about trying something new in this franchise. I don't want another movie. The last thing I want from Scream 6 is a movie that is essentially just Scream 2 with Richie's mom coming out of the blue somewhere to start killing Sam. I don't want to see that. I really don't. I didn't love that twist in Scream 2. Some people did. I just wasn't a big fan of it. I say let Radio Silence make their own Scream movie however they want to deviate from it. If it's not a sorority full of Ghostface killers, make it something else. Make it something else that's fresh, that's new, that isn't exactly something we've seen in this franchise already. That's the big thing I want to take away from this video, that I want you to take away from this video specifically. So what do you guys think about my crazy sorority cult theory? I never thought I'd be saying that in an internet video. Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this new Scream 6 theory video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. As Fate Decided would say, because he copied me with my Stranger Things video, what are you doing? Subscribe. I think I do it better personally. I'm gonna be honest, Fate. Also, if you want to join my channel memberships or my Patreon, the link for that is either in the description below, or if you just go to my page here, you just hit join, boom, you get an extra video every single week if you just support me at the Ghostface tier. And then there's even some more fun stuff as you go along up through the tiers. There's the Jason and the Freddy tier as well. Make sure to check those out too. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.